Boom! What up, boys? It's Jesu, the Rocket League dad. Here bringing you some more tips, tutorials on how to improve in Rocket League. Be sure to smash that like button and subscribe for future content. Alright, let's get it. The year is 2020. Perhaps you're stuck in lower ranks, or you have a few hundred hours and you don't know how to progress. I'm going to teach you guys how to build a solid foundation. The foundation that will allow you to continue to improve both in the ranks and mechanically. Let's cover the agenda that we're going to go through today. The foundation. The first part is movement. If you can't move in Rocket League, you're already screwed. So we're going to go through some basics and some advanced steps on different ways that you can improve your movements. The next part will be dribbling, followed by aerials, shots, speed, and confidence. So let's get into it. Starting off with movement, we're just going to open up Freeplay here. And I want to talk about a few different things. The first being is supersonic. Okay. For those who don't know what supersonic is when you're moving at a speed fast enough that there's a trail. You see this purple trail behind my car here? That means I'm supersonic, and it lasts for a little while. And as you can tell, I don't have to actually boost while I'm in supersonic. So that's something key. A lot of top players, they stay in supersonic while they're moving around the map, right? So, they're flipping and they're getting into supersonic speed, right? So it's very basic foundation work here, but you should know when you're in supersonic speed, and you can flip to get into it. You don't have to be moving using boost the whole time. You can use flips to get into this, right? How to use flips effectively to get into a supersonic speed. So there's a few different ways. One is like you can just front flip right, like this. And I think after 2 front flips, you're going to be in supersonic, right? And you want to be keeping this up, right? So you can just be front flipping around the map like this, and that's going to keep your speed up, and you're going to be able to go supersonic, right? So the next part is a diagonal flip. And the way that you do this is you turn sideways, hold air roll, and then kind of come back. And you can do this while you're boosting, right? The key here, though, is when you're moving around, you don't want to be holding boost like the whole time, like this. Like this is not efficient at all, right? This is poor boost management. While you're in supersonic speed here, you don't need the boost. You have about, I don't know exactly the exact time, but you have a few seconds here where you can just keep flipping to maintain your supersonic speed, right? See how I'm just maintaining it, flipping? So that's gonna save you a ton of boost. And you should be saving your boost for things like aerials, right? When you wanna build up speed fast, you can do boost into a flip, and that's pretty much gonna get you up to supersonic right away, right? So I recommend for recoveries you're using boost. So like when you're landing, you can use boost to get into that supersonic speed. That's gonna help you to get back a lot faster or get into positions where you need to be. And then also using boost, saving your boost for things like aerials, right? So I highly recommend using your boost for when you get stuck, keeping some boost saved up. Let's say I have 30 boosts right now. I want to keep some boost saved up so that when I do get stuck in spots of the game where I'm not moving, I can use it to boost, flip, and then just after I got my speed, I don't need to keep boosting, right? But initially, to get quick speed, you're gonna want to boost, flip, or boost, flip, that kind of thing to bring your speed up. Then once you have your speed going, you can just flip to maintain it, right? So learning how to flip around in Freeplay to get the spots like that you want to is super effective. What I'd recommend is kind of being aware of your boost usage, making sure that you always have some boost in the tank so you can get up for aerials when you need to, and making sure that when you're flipping around, you're maintaining your supersonic speed. That's huge. I would spend some time practicing that, and it seems like such a small thing, but it's overlooked a lot. And even at higher levels, people waste boost and they're getting caught out with boost occasionally, right? So this is something that applies for a lot of levels. It'll help you while you're advancing forward here. Our next thing is kickoffs. So I'm gonna set us up in a kickoff zone here, and there's only one kickoff that you actually need. Only one kickoff. And for the diagonals, that is, it's a front flip. So you want to be front flipping forward like this. Once you land, you want to get your wheels turning so they're coming in, and you want to be connecting with the ball so that you're dead on, okay? Most people, when they flip, they come in like this and they hit the ball like off to the side or to the left. It's a front flip into another front flip like this, okay? And where do you want to be hitting the ball? When you're doing this kickoff, you don't want to be hitting the ball like right here. You want to be flipping, so that when you flip, you're hitting it right in the lower middle section. And that's going to give you the best result. You want to be head on, and you want to be hitting the ball in like the lower. Guarantee you, once you get good at this, you're going to be winning all your kickoffs. Something that I'm actually known for is having a good kickoff. So I definitely recommend keeping this same kickoff over and over again until you get proficient at it. And kickoffs are hugely underestimated. When you're winning kickoffs, you're winning the game, especially in 2v2s and 1v1s. Now, we will go through a few advanced things when it comes to movement. Some of the advanced things that you can do are, the first one that we'll talk about is a wave dash, okay? A wave dash is pretty much when you are jumping and then front flipping, and your front flip lands into the ground and gives you a little boost of speed, okay? I'm gonna tell you right now, it's not that practical, even at Grand Champ level, to be doing it on the ground just like this. Like, no one's really doing that. Where it is hugely practical is when you're on the walls like this, okay? When you're on the walls and you're coming off and you're doing this, okay, to get the places, you get a massive speed boost. So don't use it on the ground. Practice jumping off, air rolling, and then front flipping into the ground. It's gonna give you a good boost of speed, and it'll help you to get back and save some boost. The second piece though for doing advanced movement would be how to do half flips. So half flips, I think the easiest way to learn half flips is driving backwards at the ball like this. But you're pretty much gonna do a backflip and then rotate, right? So you reverse, you're doing a backflip, and just practice doing this. Backflip and then air roll. So backflip, air roll, turn right. Backflip, air roll, turn right. This is how you're gonna get your half flips down, okay? And then once you can do that, you can practice doing backflip, cancel, right? So you wanna do a cancel, okay? So you're gonna get faster at half flips when you can do a double jump, but you cancel your flip. So the way you cancel your flip is just after you're holding your back button, you do your double jump, you push forward, okay? Right? So just practice this over again. And then it'll become easier, and then you can get to the point where, you're moving around and you can do weird half flips like this. And half flips, honestly, aren't used too much. They're good for recoveries, stuff like that. You use them mostly on the kickoffs. Let's say you're on the diagonal kickoff here, and your buddy's going for the kickoff on the other side. You're gonna use a half flip to get back to that back left boost there a lot faster. So you would do it like this and come back and grab your boost. So there should always be one in the left quadrant, one person in the right quadrant, and one person who's kind of back, right? And so you kind of want to think of it as like a circular triangle rotation, right? There's always one person coming in, one person looking for the pass and also being able to get back if he needs to, and one person defending who's also there to make the clears and the passes out and that kind of thing. So if you have a teammate who's following the ball up on the left-hand side, you don't want to be sniffing their ass and be right up there behind them. You want to give them a little bit of room so if the ball gets cleared, you can watch that and predict that and see where the ball is going to come to you, and you can hopefully clear it or get a shot on net or pass it to your other teammate. Same thing, if you know your teammate's back, you don't have to go back directly with them. Give them a little bit of room to work with. If your teammate's pushing the ball and he's up on the left, be somewhere where the ball can come out to the right and be ready for passes. The next thing that we want to cover is dribbling, okay? So there's a lot of things that when I was first starting out, dribbling was the biggest thing. People weren't doing crazy aerials and stuff like that. Everyone was working on their dribbling. So it was a lot easier back then because everyone was focused on dribbling to kind of pick up dribbling. where I don't really see people doing fancy dribbles and stuff like that. You see a lot of flicks, right? But flicks are a result of building up the foundation of being able to dribble, right? There's a few key concepts of when you're dribbling, right? The first concept is you want to keep the ball close, right? So if I'm dribbling, right, I don't want to be pushing the ball really far out from me, right? Like, I don't want to be hitting the ball hard, right? I want to be matching the speed of the ball a lot of times, right? That's the first thing, okay? The second thing is you should see what this white line is. You should be coming up on it like slightly under 50% on this white line, right? And you should be getting a feel of like when you're up on the left here, how do you control that, right? How can you bring the ball around to the left while you're near the ball, right? So that's like, how do you actually move the ball around, right? So I'm just gonna move the ball around like this a little bit, and then I'll bring it over. And this is a drill that you should practice. You don't even have to boost. You literally do not have to boost, right? So just bring it over and just practice doing this. Practice just getting it around like this and going left and right. So eventually what that does is it actually sets you up really well for getting the ball on top of your car, right? So I'll do that again. I'll just show you guys. When the ball is coming across, you need to you can't just come up. You gotta like cut into it, right? To get the ball to come on top of your car for dribbling, right? And getting the ball on top of your car is essential because it's gonna set you up for flicks and other things, right? So practicing keeping the ball in your car is hugely important, and practicing just like once it's off the hood of your car, how do you can get it to pop up and come under it, right? You come to the side, you can get it up that way, right? You gotta be kind of like matching the speed of the ball though. And then I would practice, bringing some speed into it and then getting it on top of your car, right? Once it's on your car, you don't even need to boost. I'm not boosting at all. I'm just driving around. I use boost a little bit to maintain it. And the key here is you need the ball to kind of be like in the middle, not too far in the front, but even a little bit to the back. You want to be in the front when you start to do flicks. There's one really, really key skill that my friend Spare Cobra, he was teaching me a long time ago on how to do flicks. And he's always been, in my eyes, one of my best friends at flicking. His tip that he gave me that made my flicks like 5 times better was the fact that when you jump, you can jump soft and you can jump hard. So I don't know if you can see that, but there's a difference there. Soft touch, hard touch. Soft touch, hard touch. Yeah, I'm going almost twice the distance on my hard touches. When you guys are jumping, I guarantee you, when you're trying to flick and you're having issues, you are probably hard touching the ball. You're hard jumping. You want to be soft touching. That's what's going to keep the ball close, right? So soft touch, and then you can do whatever. You can do your flicks, right? That is probably the biggest thing that no one really told me, and no one really explains in videos, is there's a huge difference with your X or A button when you're doing these flips, right? So let's talk about flicks, right? So you got the ball, and you're doing some dribbles, right? And you want to get a flick off, right? Like that. So you do a soft touch, and then immediately you got to be pretty fast. You got to do a front flip and hit it in, and you can just practice that, right? Get it on top of your car. Just do a little soft touch into an immediate flick forward, right? And that's like the most basic form of a flick, right? Like that. And you can get some power around these things, like these front flips. But eventually you're going to start looking for an advanced flick. An advanced flick is just, when you air roll like this and then you come across, right? And so when you air roll, you can direct the flick a lot better. You have a lot more control over where the flick's going to go. You do flicks to teammates, that kind of thing. And so I like to do the air roll flick because I feel like there's a lot more control over where it's going to go, right? Some height on it, that kind of thing. How to win 50-50s. I see a lot of people say 50-50s is purely luck. It is anything but the truth. 50-50s is not luck. And the way you position yourself when you're connecting, a lot of people just blindly drive into the car and they jump in first and the other person's waiting on the other side and they're more centered And they know that when you jump, the ball is already moving forward and it's going to push off your car. And they can just flip into the middle of it, and they're going to win that 50-50 every day. So how do you actually win 50-50s? When you're coming in and you see another player coming in, if you're not going to straight up beat him, like if you know that you're not going to come in and just straight up beat him to that ball and get it around him, your best option is to prepare to win the 50-50, right? And this is something that I found out very early, and it's detrimental in terms of keeping possession for your team. You might want to hold off a little bit. You might want to meet the person at the ball. Because if you're getting there first, but he's going to clip it, hands down the ball, you're going to lose the ball. It's going to go sprinting off somewhere in the corner. So 50-50 is kind of like a hard concept to explain. But you want to be meeting them, if not coming a little bit later than them on the 50-50, so you can keep control. A lot of people, they just chase. And, they just go and they hit the ball and they don't have any concept of where it's going to go, and they just think it's luck, right? So it's just something to start to think about. It's a little bit more advanced, but you got to be thinking about this if you want to improve. All right, next up, boys, we got aerials. Everybody loves aerials. We're going to talk about how do we even aerial. The basics of aerialing is you're jumping, you're pushing back on your left stick, and you're holding boost, right? That's how you get into the air. And you can feather if you want to stay in the air, right? But more or less, if you want to get there, you jump, you hold back, and you're holding boost. I don't recommend any custom training. This is literally the aerial training in here, the rookie one. Like all these trainings are great. You just want to practice, jump, pull up, and just be able to hit the ball. You don't even have to score it. This is how I learned. It's how a lot of people learn to do aerials like this, right? I'm not air rolling. I'm not doing anything fancy. Just jumping and hitting the ball. You can see this one's up here. It's a little bit higher up, right? So, you practice getting up and you just practice hitting the ball, right? That's the biggest thing. You're not trying to score it. You're just trying to hit it. Next part from that I would say is you want to be able to put it on target, right? You want to be able to control. So you want to be like aiming, right? So I'm going to try to aim to the net, right? And the way that you do that is after you've gone up, you can maneuver, right? So you hold back, you hold right? And as you're coming at it, you can just try to get around the ball, put it on target. So I recommend first, just being able to hit the ball. Then second, working on your speed a little bit. And third, working on, forget the speed. Just work on getting on net and then bring the speed into it. Eventually, you're going to be getting good at this. And so what you want to do after you get good at it is be able to put it on target, right? So eventually you want to be able to put all these on target. So go through all these shot practicing things until you get very good at getting up, putting it on target, not doing anything fancy here. I'm not air rolling. I'm not trying to get super speed or super power on the ball. That's what you want to do when you're starting off on learning how to do aerials. The next part of this is how do you air roll? Air rolling is hugely important. You use it for a lot of advanced techniques, use it for flicks, use it for coming off the walls, that kind of thing. I think the first thing that I would do for is rebind air roll, okay? By default, air roll is by default on your left button, square or X. I use the left trigger, okay? I would recommend if you're starting off, to put it on like L1, but I've gotten so used to the left trigger. So when I'm using my brake or whatever, after I'm in the air, I don't even have to let go of my left trigger. I'm still on the left trigger. So once I get up, I can just hold the left trigger button. You're going to be wanting to use boost and stuff like that. You're not going to be able to reach both buttons at the same time on the controller, on the stick, or on the buttons on the controller. So the first thing you need to do when you start air rolling is to bind it to one of these left trigger buttons. So what is air roll? Air roll is when you're in the air like this and you start to spin this direction, right? So you can spin upside down, right? You can do whatever, right? That's what air rolling is. It allows you to kind of have complete control over the car. And so practicing, I usually do this just to be able to stay up and maintain control. Otherwise, like you could be like, and fall to the ground, right? But that's not good. If you need the air roll and be able to control, to do things in the air roll, you kind of want to be able to do that, right? And so some of the basic concepts for air rolling is like jumping off the wall, right? So what, I'm gonna land like this? No, I don't wanna land like that. That's not good, right? I wanna be jumping and I wanna air roll and land normally, right? So when I pull off the wall, I'm pulling back and then I'm air rolling, okay? So back and then air roll, right? So these are some concepts that are really important. Back and then left. You should be very confident in jumping off the wall. That's something that you'll have to work on if you're not already good at that. So you jump, pull back, then air roll. It's a pretty easy concept, but that will set you up for a bunch of things like air dribbles and stuff in the future. So also just when you're like rotating, you're up here, you're like, oh God, how do I get off the wall? Backwards and then air roll, right? So it'll allow you to be able to rotate a lot faster on and pick your speed up. There's a ton of advanced things for aerials. I'm not gonna get into it. I'll do individual tutorials for those in the future. So fast aerialing is when you're driving and you're already pulling back and you jump, right? Okay, like that, okay? Driving, already pulling back and jump, okay? The next step to that is jump, let go of the back button and double jump while you're holding boost, okay? Like that. You can double jump. If you find yourself backflipping a lot, you can just double jump and do it. It's not as efficient. Fastest way is if you're already holding back and then jumping up or back, you're gonna backflip. So like that, right? So practice those as well when you get to diamond or champ and you want to beat people up in the air. You need to build a fast aerial. Shots, everybody. Yeah, shots, fundamental. How do you get good at your shooting in Rocket League? It's one of the core things. When you're trying to advance, you got to be able to shoot. You got to be able to shoot the ball from anywhere, any angle, right? I really like this training pack here. It's called Upper 90 Striker Training, okay? He has a wide range of different shots and angles and things like that in here. And these are pretty realistic to in-game scenarios. But whenever I'm trying to get my aim up or I'm going into a tournament, I'm practicing my shots. I'm not practicing air rolls or things like that. Just getting the ball on target and being able to hit it in certain angles and stuff like that. That's what's gonna win you the game, right? So you wanna keep your ball cam on for all the shots. And you just wanna be able to put it on target, right? So bottom right, middle, right? So you should be able to call it out eventually. Move on to the next shot here. Has both angles, right? So if you're weaker on one side or better on another, you can practice. Now the next thing that I'm gonna tell you on how to improve your shots is gonna really help with your angles. How you're gonna be able to improve where you can take your shots. Because you wanna be able to take shots pretty much from almost any angle. Come into Freeplay here and you're gonna boom it off the wall. It's gonna bounce out. And you wanna be able to just shoot it, right? You should be able to get that all net 90% of the time, I would say, or 80% of the time from any angle, just like that. Right? So you can see there's so much variance here, right? Backboard, and now I should be able to get it on target, right? Another way, come off to the side here, it's coming out to the side, following it, right? Getting it on target, right? The more and more you do this, you might not be able to get it close to on target at the start, right? But the more and more that you do this, the better you're gonna be, your awareness is gonna be with angles as well, right? So I can see where it's bouncing, right? I can see how do I actually put this on target, right? You can try doing some stuff like off the wall and like hitting it like that, right? To see how it's gonna work. The biggest thing here is just changing it up and doing this over and over again while you're in Freeplay. The last and final thing is confidence. I have some friends who are actually mechanically pretty good. They can't pull any of this off in game. They just don't ever try. They don't go for it. And the confidence is really a mental aspect. It's a bit of practice and a mental aspect. Just go for it. Don't be afraid of screwing up your gold or your bronze or your platinum or your diamond ranks. It honestly doesn't matter, right? The thing that matters is that you improve. And so if you're coming in and, you're the ball's up high and you're like, just go up for it, man. Just go up for it and try to hit it. Try to improve, right? And sure, you might screw up and your teammates might get mad at you and maybe they'll blame me when you point to this video. But after you do it 2 or 3 times, right, eventually you're gonna be able to hit crazy stuff, right? And the only way to improve is to be able to go for stuff. If you don't want to piss off your friends and you want to be a good guy, then you can practice in Freeplay. What I do in Freeplay is I just bang the ball, and I want to practice just getting to the ball fast. And I'm not trying to score. All I'm trying to do is work on my recoveries and just banging as hard as I can, okay? It's gonna improve your confidence, you know? Come off the walls, boom. Smoke it, get down to the ground as fast as you can for your recovery, boom. Work on your clears, try to get the ball as far away as possible, right? So get it high, you know, work on catching and dribbling, and, you know. This is the kind of things that Freeplay allows you to do. You can work on your confidence, stuff like that. The biggest thing is just like working on getting your booms. So how can I get a lot of power on my shots here? How can I get to the ball fast? I would work on just how do you boom the ball, right? Like what I'm doing right now. You're gonna build a lot of speed and confidence by doing that. Your speed and confidence is gonna go way up, right? So that is pretty much it in terms of the foundations for Rocket League. If you enjoy this content, if it helps you out, let me know in the comments. If there's something else that you want to see, definitely let me know as well. I'm just starting out with this YouTube thing. Appreciate a like and subscribe, and I'm going to be making more tutorials for you guys because, you know, that's what I'm here for.